Hi folks, how you doing? This is Iqbal with NVIDIA analysis and assessment. NVIDIA has been under pressure last week for various reasons. In this video, I will share with you my perspective and prediction using current fundamentals and data analysis that can tell you what might happen with NVIDIA this week. Now, let's get started. Nvidia is trading around 177 at this point. Last 5 days, Nvidia is down about 2.26%. And interestingly, year to date, Nvidia is still positive about 28%. In last 1 year, Nvidia positive about 28% as well. So 28% return in just 1 year is not bad, right? But if we go further in the past, last 5 years of data, you see that Nvidia went up about 1200%. So considering last 5 years versus last 1 year, situation does not look too good. But you can notice that Nvidia time to time makes some correction. It happened in 2024 as well, in early 2025 as well. I'm not talking about this time period because this time period we all know that the tariff impact was too bad for overall market. So similarly, I guess the correction happening at this point as well. So now the question is, can Nvidia make more correction or it will start bouncing back anytime soon? To answer this question, let's take a look some data. Starting with the forward PE, Nvidia forward P as of Friday last week was 29.35. And if you compare with the last 4 weeks, the average was 36.40. So yes, Nvidia forward P is very low at this point. And if you consider more historical data for last 18 months, starting with June 2024, here you see that average is 38.63, and for last 18 months the maximum was 47.88 forward P and minimum is 29.35. So in last probably 18 months, Nvidia's forward P on a weekly basis has not been that low, right? So that makes Nvidia a good buy at this point if you want to keep Nvidia for some time. Yes, there is a chance that Nvidia can go further down, but eventually Nvidia could not sustain below 30 forward P for so long based on the historical data. Another data point is a cumulative percentage change. So after the last earnings, Nvidia is still under pressure. You see that the maximum percentage based on the cumulative percentage change is 1.077 and the minimum is 1.95 negative. But overall, if you take a look, the previous quarters, you see that in Q1 2024, the max was 38.6 and min is 15.25. So overall average for the maximum in last probably 7 quarters, 23.51, right? So this tells that, Nvidia has more room to go further up before the next earnings. So this data point also tells that is not a very bad point to buy Nvidia and keep it for some time because the recovery can happen anytime soon. And the third data point we can consider is the overall financial statement. So I put together the summary of the financial data from line 4 through line 11 and also the next quarter estimate. See, the revenue of the last quarter came 57 billion, much higher than the previous quarter. So based on the revenue, Nvidia is doing good. And the next quarter revenue is 65. So further increase in the revenue is expected. So in terms of revenue, Nvidia is doing a good job. And the second data in the financial is the gross margin. So Nvidia landed 73.4 in the last quarter And next quarter, the estimate is 75%. So, in terms of the margin, NVIDIA is supposed to go up further. So, that's another positive sign. And the next one is the EPS. The EPS projected for this quarter is 1.51. The last quarter, the EPS was 1.30. So a good jump on the EPS is also expected in this quarter. So you see that revenue, margin percentage, and also EPS all showing a good forward looking data for NVIDIA. So no problem I see in terms of the financials for NVIDIA in the next quarter. So this tells that NVIDIA under pressure is temporary and it should bounce back anytime soon. And now let's take a look technical charts for Nvidia. You see 90-day hourly interval chart for Nvidia and also the Fibonacci levels. So as I told you in my previous video, 174 was a very strong support level for Nvidia based on the 78% retracement. And you notice that Nvidia went down below 174 one time last week, but it could not sustain below 174 and it started bouncing back from that point. It went up to 182 after that. At this point, Nvidia is trading around 176. So it will be interesting to see if Nvidia can go below 174 one time and can sustain below 174 for so long. In my opinion, there is a chance Nvidia can go down below 174, but I think that Nvidia would bounce back after that if that happens. And below that, the next level of support is 164 on the upper side. The next level of resistance is 182, and after that 188, and after that is 193, and then 200. And after that is 211.99, and that's the all-time high for Nvidia at this point. And if you take a look MACD, you see that MACD chart is in the negative region below zero level, but it's not too negative, unlike we saw somewhere here and also here. So this is positive for Nvidia. This tells that Nvidia still has a chance to bounce back this week. The negative pressure on Nvidia is not very strong at this point. And now let's take a look economic data for this week. So on Monday we have nothing big coming up, but we have Mr. J. Paul talking. So market would be very much watchful what he says in his speech. So I would expect market would react based on his comment. And Tuesday, nothing much coming up. On Wednesday, ADP employment. On Thursday, weekly initial jobless claim. But Friday, we have the PC index data coming, and that's very important. The last week, you saw that we have the PPI data, and that PPI data actual came lower than the forecast, and that's a good sign. And same thing happened with the PPI year over year, 2.7% actual versus 2.8% forecast. So that tells that the inflation is still between 2.7, 2.8. It's not going further up. So there is no visible sign for inflation going up. But the CPI data and the PC index data before the next FOMC meeting would be very critical. So that's all about my analysis and assessment for NVIDIA for this week. So if I summarize my today's video, yes, NVIDIA is under pressure, but I am not worried too much about it because I think that at this level, NVIDIA can bounce back anytime soon. So if NVIDIA goes further down, probably I will make one more buy for NVIDIA and I'll keep it for some time. And I'm more than positive that if I keep those buy position for some time, Nvidia would give some good amount of profit before the next earnings. I hope you like the video. Thank you so much for watching. talk to you more in the next video. Take care.